Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Virgo 2024 calendar year forecast high. I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant, and we're going to take one card for each month of the year for you, so you get to have a good overview as to what the thread of events are going to be throughout the course of the year. Now, I've lost count of the number of one-on-one. There's the nine of wands for January. I've lost count of the number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings I've done for Virgoans over the course of the last year. It's beautiful Virgoan women. I've always been attracted to Virgoan women for some reason. And of course, if you might be interested in having a one-on-one clairvoyant reading with me from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, I charge for readings, but what I don't charge for are healings. And my sole contract is with the spiritual gift of healing that I am to provide it for free. And so I offer that to you, or it might be someone that you know. And there's no catch, there's no obligation, you won't be sold or recommended anything. There's the Emperor. That information is in the description as well, as you would imagine. So there's the Emperor for February. March, we have the Page of Coins. Here we have the Six of Swords. What's that? January, February, March, April, May. Eight of Swords. June. Now, there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content. There's the Moon, so you get to enjoy the experience without interruption from video ads. Now let's see what there is for the second half of the year, and if you like to look at it that way. The January is the Queen of... July is the Queen of Coins. Let's have a look. There's the Eight of Wands. The Six of Wands, rather. Forgive me. Obviously, there's something wrong with it. I'd say it's early onset dementia, but I'm probably too old for it to be early. Now, there's the Queen of Swords, and there is what? What is this? The Devil. Oh, I love that Devil card there. I think you're going to really love this artwork here, truly. It's a medieval deck. There's the Five of Wands. You're up to the task, I would suggest. And there's the proof. There's the Four of Swords. Now, why don't you come sit down here next to me? I'll bring the vision around this way so you and I can have a good close look at this rather beautiful medieval imagery while I do the reading for you. Well, my dear Virgo, I can see that you are not sitting on your laurels when it comes to January, because you have great plans in store by the looks of it, and you are getting yourself ready for what might be some large challenges ahead of you, but you've got what it takes. And why do I say that? Now, this is the Nine of Wands. Now, the spiritual astrology that I have with this is the Moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius, that 3rd to the 12th of December. Now, interestingly, with this number 9 here, I have an association of the Moon as well. Now, the Moon, there's a double lunar influence here, as the Moon is ruling both the coming into and ruling Sagittarius, and it's also ruling the numerology. And what that means, it's about going deep, deep within yourself, I think. And as a result of that, I think you will have power gained through unifying your conscious and unconscious energies. There's a wholeness with you, a strong determination, a strength of character. There's almost courage under fire in some respects, as you say to yourself, where might be the hurdles of things I want to get done this year? And yet you will come a long way because you have worked for what you have got so far, and you will have a belief in yourself, and you'll be able to move forward. Now, when the unconscious becomes visible, you could be faced with many things you've covered up in order to avoid looking at them. Now, this can sometimes induce fear, but there may also simply be fear of your yet unproven strength, which reaches into all the areas of your life now, reorganizing it. You will have what I call endurance. You'll reach into yourself and discover new depths of strength and power that you never thought you had. Now, you can look ahead and say there may be some obstacles in your way, but the point is this, that you have within you the strength to overcome them. Because this card has come up, and in January, throwing a light over the entire year, you can be reassured that you have what it takes to get by, even in times of difficulty and stress. Inner strength is going to rise up and guide you to your goals throughout the year. And in the process, you'll learn more about yourself and your abilities, and gaining a new all-round perspective which brings security and self-confidence. Now, as if to reinforce that, you have in February this energy of the Emperor spiritually. There is Aries all around here. Hello, Emperor, how are you? I won't do a description of the card pictures because we don't have time. You're probably familiar with it. What's more important, though, is this. Is that following on from January, you will now become something of a pioneer, a discoverer. You'll start things because there'll be a great degree of creative wisdom within you. And in fact, great leadership qualities are going to come to the surface. You'll have an urge for action. And I think order, structure, the established ways of doing things and taking care of details are going to be important to you because you understand that they are important to make things happen and to have success. There's ambition here. And I think you could be taking a firm stand, firm with yourself, I think, as well as with other people. And there's something of maybe a promotion for somebody here. Look, primarily you will be concerned with power and control over other people or yourself. You'll be a natural leader and organizer. Your power and judgment have come about now as a result of your life experiences to date, and you understand that success will come to you through discipline and application. You'll be a rational thinker. Do you know, I think that status might be important to you, as also will material security and stability. You might find, actually, that you could be quite volatile in February. But, you know, I think you're going to start seeing quite early on some of the fruits of your planning back in January, because by the time you get to March, I'm seeing this page of coins here, and what's the energies coming up around it? I see Taurus, I see Gemini, I see Aries. They are going to be important to you. You will be seen as being beautiful, or handsome as the case may be, and strong, pregnant with life, generous, kind, and benevolent. You will have the ability to make tangible things. So not only will you have good ideas from planning from back in January, starting to execute in February, but putting things together to make them happen in March, they will turn into a reality. I really do think that in March you'll find that you are somebody who is following your own will or true purpose in life. And this energy is about getting in touch with that most important aspect of yourself and protecting it, just as this person protects this sphere here. Again, I'm getting a physical pregnancy here, certainly the birth of projects and ideas. It represents a very productive time after what you might have thought in the previous year could have been something of a barren stretch. But it's important to avoid conflict at this time, so negotiate between differences of opinion. Be diplomatic. And this is very good energy for people who are involved in work around the home. Do you know, something new is entering into your life, so prepare yourself. Say to yourself this: I am now ready for the new beauty in my life. And then, of course, you will be called upon to use that very good mind of yours to then cement your positions and to then go on to also then work on how you can build further. And here we have the Six of Swords. Now, the spiritual astrology of this, for me, is where it is placed, is that of Mercury, ruling the second decan of Aquarius, the 30th of January to the 9th of February. Well, the air planet of Mercury finds itself in the fixed sign of air, which is Aquarius. Now, Mercury happens to be exalted in Aquarius, so Saturn, which is the ruler of Aquarius, treats Mercury, the planet of communication, of intellect, and of diplomacy as an honoured guest. And that highlights what I think are the intellectual qualities of this energy here. You know, Aquarius, as I say, is an air sign, which is detached, I suppose, by nature, and Mercury's ability to analyze things brings you a clear perspective going forward. So this is suggesting to me that a somewhat detached but balanced assessment of a situation is going to be needed. You'll need to analyze something without bias or without too much emotion in order to get the best result. Now, Aquarius is also the sign of new things, of innovation and originality. And so this could also represent you communicating, because that's a great gift of Mercury, communicating ideas in a new way, even unconventional or left field ideas. You'll be able to put them across in an orderly way, which will find a good home in the minds of your audience. You'll have mental clarity, and you'll be using your intellect and logic here. And there is a period of calmness, I think, ahead of you. You'll have a great ability to analyze things, to unify ideas, and I think you'll step back and have something of an all-encompassing vision, and as a result of that, you will obtain an all-embracing understanding of issues related to situations. And more particularly, you'll be analyzing them and looking at them objectively. Now, sometimes when we have a lot of things going on at the same time, we can have a lot of different ideas running around. And of course, the key is to focus on things. And the key is to make sure that you don't lose focus and don't jump from one idea or one plan to another, but to take a plan, set an objective, and set out the way to achieve it. Here is the Eight of Swords, which for me is Jupiter ruling the first decan of Gemini from a spiritual point of view. Well, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, isn't it? And for Jupiter to get into Gemini, it has to go 180 degrees away on the zodiac wheel, the complete opposite side of the wheel. And it's therefore going to be in detriment. And so Jupiter is weakened where it's sitting in Gemini. And the inquisitive nature of Gemini, well, in a sense, further inhibits Jupiter. So a weakened Jupiter means that you might feel that you can't get what you want due to too many, which is a Gemini aspect, distractions, which, frankly, may or may not be self-created. What is important at this time is that you don't have a fear of failure, that you don't have a sense that you are holding yourself back. You don't bring into your mind the thought that you will fail, and that you don't quit before you start at making progress on a matter. I think there's some worry here about thinking too much, but I guess that happens to everybody from time to time, and you might feel that you do have some problems with endurance or a difficulty in making a choice. Well, I think what's necessary at this time is to let things rest and develop on their own for a while. Now, as long as doubt concerning decisions that you might have here in May, as long as they remain, don't go for anything new. You see, Jupiter is the representative of unforeseen and unexpected change for the better. And any problem which you have at that time, which might seem to be incapable of being solved, will find its own solution in its own way. Take some time out, have a mental health break, and let Jupiter come in and do its work. Now, you've had such a great start to the year and everything, and things are, I think, going along, and you're having the natural things where sometimes, some doubts come into play. Well, what's happening is that there is what I would call a natural testing time as you undertake your soul contract and walk along the path of your soul purpose here. Because here we have the moon, and spiritually, for me, the astrology is Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. And the major question here for you is Is it a reality or is it an illusion? Now, Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition, and also with art. And this Pisces is the end of the zodiac. And Neptune in Pisces, well, Neptune's watery depths. Neptune is associated with dreams, visions, and the imagination, which links it in well, I think, with the qualities of the moon. But the real thing here is I think that this is suggesting a time when something in your life or somebody in your life is not what they appear to be. There is a situation here which is deceiving. Now, I spoke about there being a final testing, if you like, of you. And there's nothing wrong with the test. The test isn't a destruction. It's almost like an examination. It's asking you to look back and say, have you made any wrong turns? Are you proceeding on unverified assumptions? Have you ignored risks? They're the things that it's asking you to do. And there is mental confusion which could come about. And you might think that this is something of a difficult period because you then start to lack some clarity. But there will be, I think, a real big increase in your intuition during this period here. In some respects, I think that this energy here represents the shadow self. And is it the case that you maybe think, oh, do I really deserve these good things which I've set out to produce at the beginning of the year? Do I deserve them? Is your self-esteem high enough? Do you believe that you are entitled to success? Well, this is talking about, I think, a shadow self, and we all have shadow selves, or a subconscious, or a hidden self. Now, it's important to embrace your shadows. It's important to understand that they are part of you. We all have shadows. You see, if you don't embrace and love the shadow aspects of yourself as much as the light, then the shadow aspects get locked away in a room where they just become strange, is the way I can put it. Now, maybe there is some negativity that's sitting around that you have suppressed or not even been aware of. Well, there's a need to release this destructive energy. And very often, sadly, these things come up from childhood. Well then, I think because you do look at yourself and accept yourself and understand that you are born for greater things, because then we have the Queen of Coins. In a sense, this is a period where you're like the camel, which goes across the desert for a long period of time before it can find an oasis and a source to drink. And here we have the Queen of Thrones, which is a lot of Capricorn energy here, and Sagittarius important to you. Now, these courts can, of course, be of either gender. I'll refer to it as a woman for the obvious reason. Someone who is ambitious, affectionate and kind, charming, practical, maybe quite domesticated in a number of ways. Ambitious, but this is a time, I think, when you will be working with instinct and intuition rather than with your intellect. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have the ability to act with an intellect. I'm saying that what you should do in July is proceed on the basis of what you know works rather than taking up new experiments to find out if something might work. You will be hard-working, I think, practical, sensible. You know, you might, in a sense, possess the finest of the quieter qualities during this time. But I do see also here that you will, in something of an unassuming way, actually be very lusty and sexy, and possibly have the ability to get into alcohol and drugs and do what you want. This is about practicality here for you, and she represents prosperity and security for you, because now you have reached the oasis and you can look back on those times, on that dark night of the soul or that desert of the soul, and come into your own. But she's very much saying to me to keep it practical, compassionate, and have a nurturing attitude to others and to your own circumstances, and to go with the flow. Now, she does also, I think for me, she's talking about health for you and diet. So these are things that you should pay attention to. So pay attention to your health at this time. We then move on into, what would it be, August, I guess. And we have this energy here. Now, I am getting Jupiter in the second decan of Leo when I see this card here and what it is giving up to me. And that second decan is the 3rd of August to the 12th of August, as you probably might know. Now, Jupiter, among other things, is about love, expansion, and philosophy. And this combines really well with the creativity of Leo. And so you have success in achieving your goals. Leo is also ruled by the sun. And so there's a tremendous amount of balance that comes in here. And Leo gives you confidence and creativity, while Jupiter will bestow an expansiveness upon you. 6 is also numerologically for me about moving, transition, balance, solutions to things, and having harmony in your life. Now, in a nutshell, this is speaking of you having victory at this month, success, clarity of mind, and I think breaking through something. So much so that you are definitely going to feel inspired to continue, and you will be getting recognition from other people, and I dare say that you may well be quite enjoying being in the spotlight. Then we get to where, I have to move through these pretty quickly so you don't run out of time. And then we have the Queen of Swords here. Well, it looks like somebody forgot to take out the trash. Lot of Virgo around here this month for you. I'm also getting Libra here. Now, her association with that energy of Libra for me connects her to adjusting things within yourself. This is about you making clear decisions based on fact and fairness. Similar, I think, notwithstanding her beheading of this fellow here, similar to the Queen herself. I think you'll come across as being very graceful, very perceptive, a keen observer, very individualistic, and very confident and gracious. You will, in a sense, be cutting through old masks and roles. There's a clarity with you now, and you'll be very intellectual, logical, and objective here. Now, the openness and receptiveness that we see in a child, well, in conjunction with this sword here, I think, speaks of insight into a person or a situation is needed to work out how to sort out a particular problem with somebody. The point is that you'll need to use your intellect to make an unbiased decision about a situation, probably involving a person. And I think what's going to also happen is that you need to remember, I think, in this situation, that compassion and empathy may distract you from doing what you need to do. So you must go with your head and not your heart and do what needs to be done. It's not a time to beat around the bush about a situation or a person. Rather, it's a time to decide and act. And I think that you will have the courage of your convictions to move forward. Then we have the Devil, who is, this is a very good card for you in particular. Now, the spiritual astrology that I have here is that I have Capricorn ruled by Saturn with Mars exalted here. Now, Mars, though, is shown in its best form for me, the fiery material energy of creation. And I think what this is talking about is you having a great degree of focus, a bit of an Adam and Eve theme going on here. And it might well refer to tunnel vision, because the devil's vision is usually directed at some material goal. Now, this can relate to your career and ambition, or even just looking after your own self-interest, you know. And it also says that you will be able to accomplish a lot if you are focused, because the devil is not distracted by anything once he has put his eye onto it. He is focused on the task at hand. Now, I say it's Saturn in Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, of course, is the sign of business, career, worldly success, and social standing. Now, Capricorns are usually hard workers and high achievers, are they not? So I think there's a lot also of procreative energy here. I think you'll actually be quite funny. You'll have a good sense of humour. There's a lot of sexuality here. You may find that you have a very strong sexual attraction to someone, whether or not you act upon it. And you will also be very sexually attractive to other people. There's a creative energy here. Now, there is this temptation, I think, for you to maybe go off on a blind impulse to do something, so just be aware of that. But you will be irresistibly strong and have great endurance. And then in November we have Saturn again, or I do anyway. I get Saturn here, and I get Saturn in the first decan of Leo. Leo again. Look, Saturn and Leo, I'll be frank, just do not get on, because Leo wants to be creative and express itself, while Saturn is, well, in one view, cold and dense and wants to set boundaries and limits. Now, Leo is a fire sign and in a fire suit of wands, and Saturn comes in and wants to dampen all of this down. So you might be feeling that there is some restriction or an unfulfilled desire here with you. Because fives, this is the Five of Wands, they deal with instability, exaggeration, strife, changes. But I think what it is here is it's competition that you are going to have. Now, this could be competition in a sales area, it could be competition in a personal area. You might be competing with someone who is just as attractive as you are, or has the same sort of a resume that you do, or who is, has the same degree of experience that you have. And yet, given these other cards here, that competition is something that's going to be resolved favourably for you. Then we have the Four of Swords. I say that competition is going to be favourably resolved for you because you end up in a period of truce and rest from strife and aggravation, because it's Jupiter in Libra. Now, Jupiter tries to find balance in your life. And what's happening here now is that you find that you are calm, centered. There's a clarity. There's a recuperation and a quiet consideration of things that are going on in your life. There's agreement and taking a break. Jupiter has given you now a period of rest from a difficult situation and opening your higher mind's flexibility, which is needed to resolve conflicts and competition. And Jupiter allows you to move on. I thought that was fascinating, didn't you? And didn't you enjoy the artwork on the cards? It's so unusual, isn't it? You don't really see anything like it anywhere like that. I must try and remember who it was that gave this to me. And you know, the best thing is with tarot decks is that people actually gift them to you rather than you buy them yourself. Did you know that? And the tradition is to tie string around the deck before you give it to the person as well. That's the old tradition anyway. But look, if you did enjoy the reading, please do me this favor, and it's the only thing that I ask for you. Would you smash the like button on the way out, because it's good for the YouTube computer thing. You know, you understand how that works, probably a lot better than I do, I must say. But until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.